Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Milan Weekly Podcast channel. On this special edition of Milan Coast to Coast, I'm sitting down with three of the best people of the NYC club. We're going to be talking the full year in review for Milan. We're going to talk management. We're going to talk players. We're going to talk Pioli. And then, of course, we got some other stuff later on going on in the summer that you can't miss and you got to be a part of. And what you got to do, if you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Hit the notification bell so you're up to date with all of our latest videos. Smash the like button. Leave a comment if you're watching later. Help us, support us on Patreon, and help the channel. Follow us on all our socials. Fellas, andiamo, let's go. It's time for Coast to Coast.
Milan Weekly Podcast presents Milan Coast to Coast with your host, Gio and Fabio.
Benvenuti nella casa Giroud in area, si gira, sinistro, rete, gol capolavoro di Olivier Giroud.
Mignon with another magical save.
Teo Hernandez, coast to coast del numero 19.
Leao carica il mancino.
Eccolo qua, Rafa Leao.
Let's bring us in. What up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the Milan Weekly Podcast channel. Tonight, we're only one coast, baby, and it's East Coast. I got rid of the Cali kid for the night, and I got Franco, Remo, and Beppe of the New York City Club. What up, everybody? How you guys doing? Franco, how you doing tonight, brother?
Good. We'll call it instead of coast to coast, we'll call it shore to shore.
That's true.
Jersey Shore, North Shore, and South Shore.
Nice, very nice. That's true, man. We're hitting 4 different areas of the tri-state area. Beppe, how you feeling tonight, bro?
I'm good. I'm getting ready to unleash as well.
Okay. And never last, Remo, how are you doing, brother?
What's up, Fabio? Great to be here. And coast to coast, for me, there's only one coast to coast, George Weah, 1996. Coast to coast, baby.
Nice.
Listen, man, I appreciate all you guys making time. Obviously, the season's over, so the next meetup probably will be in a few weeks' time. So I just wanted to sit down with you three because obviously when I get a chance to hang out with you guys at the bar, it's just constant Milan talk. And now we got to really – I hold you three in very high esteem in regards to Milan. And I just had to see how you guys feel coming to the end of 2023, 2024. So, Franco, we'll start with you, man. Overall thoughts on the campaign now looking back. Finishing second, 11th in goals allowed. It's so much, man.
Right, so much. That's the thing. It's going to be an 8-hour episode. I don't understand. I have work in 10 hours. So, listen. If you told me we'd finish in second place, I'd say, okay, but what else do we do this season?
True.
You know, honestly, like, this isn't one of those situations where, like, oh, if you told me in August we'd finish second, I'd be happy. You know, I would have probably asked you in August, what else do we get out of the season besides the second place finish? And I think that's where much of the disappointment is, obviously. Yeah. You know, do you expect Milan to win the Champions League? No. Do you expect Milan to do a little better in that group stage? Definitely. But you can also accept the fact that, you know, certain things just simply didn't go our way in that Champions League group stage. And you're like, okay, you know, that last minute penalty that Mbappe got and just, you know, things, right. You know, not finding the net in a couple of those games, you know, the very first game, Newcastle, and then, you know, the Borussia Dortmund game. Yeah. But, you know, moving on to Europa League, you would have hoped for a better showing, and then losing to a direct rival in Roma is gut wrenching. And then, Beppe and I will probably, we could probably spend 2 hours just on Coppa Italia and the lack of priority that is given to that competition. I'm sure Remo would probably agree too. Yeah. So, just going so long without another Coppa Italia and just not giving importance to that, and even watching the final of that tournament and just saying like, we could have easily have competed in this tournament is pretty depressing. So yes, you finished second. Good for you. Like you're still in Champions League, like, okay, if you compare it to, finishing 10th, like other teams, Are
you referring to the worst championship defense in history?
I am. So, grass is always greener somewhere else. So. Okay.
Let's not mention Napoli, because that'll take us in a different direction.
But the thing is if you're going to hang your hat on like, oh, we did better than Napoli, then you're not looking in the right direction.
Exactly.
The truth of the matter is that the team above you dominated the competition. They dominated you in the previous 5 games, which is a real issue. If people want to downplay the Derby's lost, I'm going to disagree with them highly. And that's it. I mean, all of the deficiencies overshadow a second place finish.
I agree. All right, Remo, same question, bro. What are your thoughts looking back on 2023, 2024?
I mean, like Franco said, second place, but maybe, I don't know, the most unsatisfying second place I can recall in recent memory or in the last 20 years. I mean, we finished second before, but we were in the fight, right?
Yeah.
We were fighting for the Scudetto, like, we're up there. Okay, sometimes you can't always win it, but this was like blowout land, right? I mean, we were second, but like not even close. Like you said, for the goals against, the defense was a problem all year. So it's hard to hang your hat on the second place. Franco mentioned all the other stuff already, so I'm not going to, he's absolutely right about Coppa Italia, Champions.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm going to say is, come at the end of the season, right? It was clear that Inter was going to win the Scudetto. We all knew it. These guys had one freaking job, and that was do not let Inter celebrate the Scudetto at
100%.
home. And all they had to do, I'm not saying it's easy, you draw. You got to get a draw. So do whatever the hell you need to do to get that draw. And then we don't have to, for the next 15, 20 years, listen to these assholes. Right, like Vito Scudetto, Casa Nostra, like we're gonna hear about this shit. Like it's gonna be worse than Triplete, I guarantee you. So that to me, I don't know. Honestly, that ended up being the most disappointing aspect. I was very disappointed about Europa League as well, but yeah, I mean we finished second. But the Derby thing, really, I think that was a way to at least make the season salvageable and say the pride. We lacked a lot of pride this year in the key moments. So second place rewarded us for some consistency throughout the year, which was good. But we lacked the pride in Coppa Italia. We lacked the pride in Europa League against Roma, where they outplayed us 10-11. We lacked the pride, in the Derby. Like those key moments, that the team as a whole fell short. And I think the next coach, whoever it is going to have a job, both physically, mentally, to get this team on a different level if we want to compete. Because I think we have some decent players, but mentally. We fell short in the key moments this year. That's my judgment. But second place is whatever. We're in Champions, great. That's where we need to be. But just the way it came about, second doesn't feel like a second place.
No, because we're second place to Inter, and that is always going to be a tough pill to swallow.
By a mile, Fabio. By a mile.
By a mile. It's not even. We're not even close. You know what? One thing I said to somebody: the fact that the season was over at the end of April. You gave us a month of useless football. We couldn't even get excited for it. That's where it leaves a sour taste. Pepe, last, what's your thoughts, man? I know you have a lot of thoughts because it has to do with the next topic we're going to talk about. But go ahead. What's your thoughts on this campaign, man?
I feel like it was the most overrated, useless second place, I think, in the history of the team.
Yeah.
I
don't think you're wrong at all.
You say you got a second place, it's a big deal. Yeah, but you would have never thought second place might as well be fifth place. Even though it sounds stupid, it's true. Like I never, second place is a big deal for many years, but like I feel like this year, like you said, we had a month of just watching them shit the bed with Salernitana, with like you were there sitting there. Then they had to go to Australia and play a stupid game and get embarrassed even more by Roma. 3 losses in the span of 2 months. Like this year was just like, I don't know. It was like a forced. Oh, you're never gonna remember. Well, actually, not. Never mind. You are gonna remember this year.
You're gonna remember
because of what happened. Because of what happened in the derby.
Right. That's the
And
problem.
look, just real quick, just to add, Coppa Italia. Juve won Coppa Italia. They had a terrible year. Even Juventini agreed that they had a terrible year.
They fired their coach right after.
with a freaking trophy. Are you
They
kidding me?
literally fired the coach before he even got to like touch the trophy that they had just won.
I mean,
it was a joke. Right. But even so, they came away with silverware. Why? Because they made the final competition, and they go in to win because that's what a team with some pride, you do that. Like that's what you do. But anyways, I'll be quiet.
When you look at the annals of history, you're going to see what happened in 2023-24. Oh, wow, Inter won a Scudetto. Juve won Coppa Italia. Atalanta won. What did Milan do? Second place.
And we're going to always be reminded that they clinched on us. And that is a terrible thing to remember.
Not even clinched. It's the star.
Yeah.
Like if they just clinched, that would eventually get forgotten. But it's the star is a problem.
Yeah. That's that'd be like dunking on us. That's the only way I can really put it. It's like a big embarrassment.
It's one thing to get the second star before your team, before your rival. Another thing is to, like they say, in faccia, like literally in your fucking face.
Yeah.
That's what you're never gonna, because you're always gonna hear it. Now look, they want to go after Lukaku, like you guys are going after the Inter rejects. Now it became like a thing that we get abused on everything. Look, Çalhanoğlu did better with us. It's a bunch of things. I'm going a little bit far, but Inter, it's Inter. That's the problem. So they're right. When Cardinale turns around and says, well, I think it wouldn't have bothered you as much if the first place team was an Inter. If it was a Juve or a Napoli, it wouldn't have bothered you as much.
Wait, is that an official imitation? Is that an official imitation of his voice, or you just made that
I don't
up?
know. I can't think of his voice now because I'm not. But it's like like you gotta understand that's. And then if we're gonna talk about this as far as culture and stuff like that, that's one thing that he's never gonna understand. That's a big deal to us. Losing when the Yankees lost to the Red Sox, that big collapse in 2004.
Yep.
It happened.
One of the worst.
It went away. We remember, but it went away. In Italy, it doesn't go away. In Italy, they'll remind you. And this year is going to be one of those reminders. Just like we got to hear triplete, mai stati in B, blah, 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 blah. This is going to be now stella in faccia. Every year. Even if we win. The only way we get it is if we win it the same way they won it from us. But even so, they're going to say, well, we did it before you.
We did it first.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so you make a perfect little segue there, right? Let's talk about the management, Pepe. We'll let you come back in a second. Pepe, keep talking out. But it's all good. Pepe, the management, they're 12 months. What's your opinion of everything? Obviously, major player rotation coming in the summer, selling Tonali, changing the top management, going with this new concoction at the top of Moncada and Furlani and everybody else, and bringing in Ibrahimovic, which we still don't know what the hell Ibrahimovic does. He's putting out cryptic texts of formations that he would run if he was an imaginary coach, whatever he's doing up there. But what's your opinion of the management this particular year?
For this year, I mean, we had a decent campaign as far as the transfer window because of Tonali. We brought in some key pieces. Don't forget, Pulisic, Loftus-Cheek, all great additions that did the right thing. But then in another sense is like, you see a lot of things that you shake your head. One of them being the appointing of whoever's going to be the coach. So to me, if you want to talk about this year, I give it like what's the grade in school that's like sufficienza? C? Is that what
Yeah.
it is?
Mhm.
I see. I give it that. Nothing special. Not as bad as that, but like I feel like these people, like to be honest, I felt more secure, and I see why people feel a security blanket when Maldini was there. It was a face. When you look at Furlani and Moncada, no offense, you don't get that much of you don't get, you don't feel as
You
much.
don't
They
have the
know a person
confidence
is.
in them.
You don't get
Like
the
they
confidence.
know. No.
And Ibra is all talk because Ibra probably wanted to do all these things, wanted to open his mouth, but they probably set him in a room and said, "Listen, my friend, you're getting paid. We tell you what to say, when to say, like every other person." In the end, they put a leash and muzzle on everyone. Once in a while, you'll come out, you'll say his things. He made his post with the 4-3-3 to make it look like what the hell is going to happen. People almost thought that he was going to be the coach, but other than that, it's like there's no sense. In Italy, we love to have a face, to bash, to praise. The problem with us is we're owned by a fund. Yes, there's a face called Jerry Cardinale, but he's not there all the time.
But even he himself said he doesn't want to be the face.
He doesn't. So what the fuck we go after?
And like that's fine. You want to do that, but then appoint somebody who's going to be a face. You have to listen to the fans and understand the culture. Like he needs, if he says he wants to be, off microphone and off camera, he doesn't want to be in the player's face. He said he doesn't want to show up at Milanello and stare everybody fucking down and whatever. Like that's fine. But get somebody there who does, because the culture demands that,
Yeah.
I agree, Franco. Yeah, but I thought that's what Ibra was supposed to be, because when he hired Ibrahimovic, right, he even said in the interview, he's like, "A Milanello Ibra parla per me." Like whatever comes out of Ibra's mouth is like vetted for me. It's like if I was there. But then where's the communication external? I think that's we don't have that, right? Like the transparency. I guess we're all saying that because we don't have the voice. I thought Furlani was going to be a little bit of that guy early on in the season. It seemed like it, but I guess they're for them, saying less is more. But like Beppe said, in this environment in Italy, like that doesn't always work well. Like I think that's the problem with how they're running it.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's like a directive there to do less is more, but like even there were certain post games where the whole world was waiting for Pioli to like go after a refereeing decision, or a player on the opposite team that was playing dirty or something, where any other coach in the league or any other president would have gone running to the microphone. Like back in the day, Galliani would have gone like running to the microphone in the post game and been like, what happened tonight was unacceptable and whatever. Like Pioli himself would always take the high road as well. Like, so it makes you wonder if that's like a directive from up top and everybody followed it, and that's why they shied away from certain coaches, so to speak, is because like they want their yes men and stuff like that. It makes you wonder if there's an establishment of a certain culture there that really doesn't jive with what fans are expecting.
I think it's the absence and the void of a Maldini presence being there, who, again, despite the fact that we seem to forget that he was only on the job for 4 or 5 years, had no, he in a sense was basically still on his 5-year rookie kind of deal, where he was building every year. Things were getting better, and just to kind of pull that out and put in something where you really didn't feel like you understood where the project was going, who was in charge, who that front man was. It seemed to be Furlani a little bit, but once they kind of brought Ibra in, he's just, I don't know, he seems like a puppet, not necessarily the front man to make be the front man for the discussions for the team, for things that are going on. And hopefully, Vince in our chat is saying, maybe this was a kind of I don't want to say a mulligan year, but like a year that he was just testing the waters. Maybe next year Ibra will be a little more front and center in regards. But yeah, there was a lot of presence from Maldini being at the trainings, being on the microphone whenever, he needed to talk and say things. And it's, definitely lacking. So, and any other thoughts on management? Go ahead.
Yeah. So like just going back to both Maldini and Ibra, like for the Ibra thing, like you said, like maybe this was a mulligan year and maybe he will, the problem there is maybe, and like nobody is giving us any indication of what it might turn into. You know, there's no transparency whatsoever with this management. You know, if you go back to Maldini, you know, every once in a while somebody will pop up with the argument and be like, oh, you know, Maldini didn't get everything right either. It's like, no, that's fine. He really didn't. Like, there were certain things that he definitely got wrong. The difference is that there was a clear image of what they were trying to do while Maldini was there. And I'll even take it a step up from there. I feel that when Ivan Gazidis was in the office, things at Milan as a whole, not even on the field, not even in the management sector, but even like, you know, marketing and this and that, I feel like things functioned much more efficiently when Ivan Gazidis was in the office.
I agree with that 100% too. And I mean, I don't want to harp too much on the Maldini side, but I just feel like there something about Maldini. He has that thing that you can't put into words that makes everybody else believe like this guy knows what he's doing.
Class,
I guess would you put it as class? Maybe the fact of just being a winner, being able to look like in 3-4 years turn this Milan around from the joke and embarrassment it was. Like you saw how other people spoke about him, who people know him and think, and to just remove him so much really left this entire year completely like unstable from the get-go.
Yeah, obviously somebody didn't like the
CBS comment probably.
No, I'm saying like right, or just the massiveness of the figure. They probably had to deal with it every single day. It doesn't matter how much freaking money you have. It doesn't matter how much you own of this team.
Exactly.
That person is always going to be bigger than you.
Yeah. And honestly, as Gio would like to say, he probably had a bigger cock than him, and that's just how it is. And we're gonna move on from there. So let's go.
On that note,
let's go to we gotta get all right. And Beppe,
my favorite topic.
No, Remo, you're gonna start because you know how I poke at you. So you're a Pioli apologist, but you're a realist. So where he came in, and I was unlucky to see Gianpaolo, but in 2019 we brought Pioli in where we were suffering with this coach, but at least Maldini knew I made the wrong choice. Let me turn correct here. Fighting off the fact that they were already giving away his job from the moment he walked in, to turning the club around, to getting to Champions League, the miracle Scudetto, Champions League semifinal, second place. What's your thoughts on Pioli's time?
So here's my thoughts, and you know my feelings about him. But here's what I'm going to say. Here's what I'm going to say about that, because now that he's officially gone, we can talk about him in past tense and like have a different maybe approach. So here's what I'm going to say. I think, and this is my opinion, obviously, but I think in 5 to 10 years, people are going to look back, and hopefully we're in a good place in that time frame from a perspective of the team winning and doing well. I think in 5 to 10 years, we're going to look back and say, this guy, he wasn't the best, but you know what? He took us through a very challenging period, right? Of, finishing 6th and 7th and 8th consistently to now finishing, 6th, then finishing, 4th when we made champion, then finishing 2nd, then finishing 1st, and then, making the semis of Champions League, blah, blah, blah. The trophy haul, admittedly, was not significant. I mean, the Scudetto was great.
Yeah.
A great achievement because probably unexpected. Beppe and I talk about this all the time. What was more unexpected, the 2022 or 99? So it's like, I think, in the end, he's going to be looked at, I think in the future, and he will be looked at with some more praise, and he was actually a good guy. I thought he was a good guy. He maybe didn't have the fire at some times that he needed to have, maybe late, especially in this past year. I think he really paid for those.
He was on fire for like a whole year. I don't know.
Right. He was on fire, and then he got fired, right? And that's the thing. And then, obviously he paid for the derby losses. He paid for the lack of sort of tactical acumen in terms of in your certain key games he kind of missed. But I was thinking about this earlier today too, in prep for the show. If you think about, there was a couple months, like after we won the Scudetto, and then sort of that high that we were on, and then you guys remember that September we won the derby 3-2.
Yeah,
like we were still flying, man. Like there was a feeling like okay, we beat Inter last year, Giroud, Doppietta, we won the Scudetto. Now we beat them again, come from like we're in control. And then things just kind of started to slide a little bit. We had the rough patch last year, and then he never really recuperated from that. He never really recuperated from that. So overall, I think, like I said, I think his legacy in a few years will. I think the guy got bashed a lot. And if you look on paper, it really his tenure wasn't too bad, but he did miss some critical. Right,
listen, he gave you 8 good minutes one game, and he bragged about it. I mean, come on.
I see smoke coming from your left over there.
Well, no, and I agree with Fabio. Last thing, I do agree with that. Right, I agree with that because I think when he first came on board, he was more candid he was more like abbiamo giocato male, like we played right. Towards the end, he started playing the game a little bit too much, especially because he was sort of being very defensive. And I'm like, I like the guy who first came on, who was like, we're not doing well, and we got to be better.
He felt the heat at the end. I think he was finally starting to crack, but it took him a long time to crack. Yes. Like he never went on that, Malazzani or Gattuso type of like just complete breakdown where he got he got shit on a lot, and he really took the high road as much as he could. And I think there's something to be said about that, and just the correttezza of the person that is Pioli. There's a difference between his coaching limitations, which were clear after a while, and the correttezza of the person. And I think that's why I was a little disappointed with the treatment of him over the last couple months, where it's just like, did this guy really deserve that much of a, mudslinging? Because he really got dragged through the mud. You can say to a coach, okay, we're done with you. It happened with Zaccheroni. You were talking about 99 Scudetto. By 2001, the guy was a disaster. So you could say it about, Capello and Sacchi to a certain extent. The difference, obviously those people won, and so they didn't get the mudslinging. But I think Zaccheroni is like the best example. Allegri got dragged through the mud a little bit at the end, but he kind of brought that upon himself. He was a different personality. He didn't have the same attitude. But there's so many parallels between the 99 Scudetto in 2022 and the two coaches themselves. And I think that the biggest difference was the treatment of that coach when when things turn back into a pumpkin. Let's put it that way.
That's what I'm saying. On 99 right now, you look back 25 years later. I ragazzi del 99, Zaccheroni. Like it's seen in a good light. That's what I'm saying. I think in 5 to 10 years time, that'll change. Obviously, we're not there yet, but that's why I think in retrospect, eventually,
don't worry. In 5 months, you're gonna be missing Pioli.
There you go.
All right, Pepe. So when you look back, all in all, from 19 to 2024,
I'll be very honest with you. I'm gonna put a sidebar when it comes to Pioli. When I watched that farewell, a tear did come down.
Me too.
I felt bad. As much as I bashed him, I felt bad because his misfortune was that they kept him along 1 year too late.
That's correct.
He was the scapegoat. He should have been fired this year.
Even 6 months.
If they would have gotten rid of him before, like without having this season, maybe he has a better legacy. But it was forced. It was, and then he just got to a point that. But now I guarantee you look at the comments on all the posts about this next schmuck. People would rather have Pioli, and I'm the first one to admit it. Maybe this guy's going to be in a Scudetto race until January. Maybe he wins it this year. But as I sit here, you look at it's like looking at roast beef or pastrami. What do you want?
Prosciutto cotto.
Yeah, it's based on preference. But you're not talking about filet mignon or, it's not a big difference.
London
so
broil.
You want it London broil. Yeah. You want to stay. You want to stay with something that you at least What I know about the other schmuck is that he lost the game. He lost the game at Tavolino because he made 6 subs.
Yep.
In Rome. So I mean that's a good way. But then again, like I said, watch, I'm gonna talk like this now. This guy's gonna win us the Scudetto. But my point is, I wanted them to do better. This goes back to management. You got a guy like this. He did what he did. Pioli's always gonna be remembered. Also, it has a special place in my heart because it was my first Scudetto with the boys. So I'm never gonna forget that. That night, that day, our legends. Because technically it wasn't Football Factory. Our legends. We had the night that probably will never be replicated as far as for a game. But it was huge. But that day was very emotional. The trophy is different. We're never gonna forget that because that's just la prima volta non si scorda mai. The first time you'll never forget. So
Absolutely.
even though it wasn't the first time, it was the first time for us. So, but as far as Pioli himself, like again, it goes back to management. You had a chance. You finally got rid of him. You have literally a menu full of all these people to get, and that's what you do. So you know what? Then don't even bother. You're gonna pay this guy a year to sit home. Keep him there. You waiting for Klopp? These people, they're not waiting for that. The management is gonna go and be as conservative. They'd probably if they could, they'll shop at the Dollar Tree.
Yeah.
$2.5 million. They managed to get a guy. There's no speculation, but speculations happen to be always right. They happen to get a guy and pay him less than Pioli is even making.
For his whole contract.
So why are you doing this? Are you doing this because you give him like a hint? If it happens like it happened in Napoli, it's only $2.5 million. We'll let him loose in October.
Yeah.
Is it foreshadowing?
It smells like a discount rack purchase.
Yeah. I mean, again, there were other options. We can spend an hour talking about who we could be getting. But Facebook Frank is in the chat. He wanted to ask you, Pepe, you think Fonseca is going to be another, I don't know who the hell this is, Fatih Terim?
Is the Turkish coach in 2001. That's the guy that replaced. They replaced Zaccheroni right away because Cesare Maldini was in the middle, but he's the one that came after the fact. And then once he left, that's when Ancelotti came.
That I remember.
Correct.
Ancelotti,
by the way, had been let go from Parma and Juve at that point.
Ancelotti,
I know he looked like he was not going to be anything as a coach.
He was career second place guy.
Now he's the goat. Now he's the goat of the goats.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes it takes a little while. Maybe this is going to be Fonseca's time to shine. I don't know.
I was about to say I don't think Paulo Fonseca is the next Ancelotti.
I don't know about that either. But I always bring up this stat, guys. There's only 2 coaches that were non-Italians to win in the last 25 years. One is Mourinho. The other one's Eriksson. It seems to be you have to be an Italian to get the team over the line. And it's very upsetting that it doesn't seem like they're going to be going like that. I kind of echo what Beppe feels. If Fonseca, if it is to be true, if this is the guy you decided to go with, why does this feel like a step up? Because that's what it essentially is why you're firing Pioli. The guy finished second, got you a title 2 years ago, and he still has 1 year on his contract. If the guy you're trading him for isn't a step up, to me, it's a step back. I hope I'm wrong. Obviously, we all hope that, but it just doesn't seem. Yeah, this is an algorithm thing. I'd rather pay $2.5 million than the $10 million that he's owed, or whatever it is for Pioli, because, like Beppe said, probably if they actually keep him all 3 years, it'll still be cheaper than paying Pioli for 1 year, and I think that's all they care about. But I digress. Any other final thoughts on Pioli before we move on?
Just one more thought on the algorithm. You would think a management that relies so much on algorithm apparently would go with the trend of Italian coaches are the best coaches in the world right now and across all competitions.
Everybody's saying it.
But,
come on.
I don't know.
Even Italiano. I'm not too fond of him. Thiago Motta, and I didn't even want Thiago Motta. At this point, I'm begging for Thiago Motta.
I know, isn't that messed up?
Like it's crazy. Like we drop down to so much mediocrity that when I look, I'm looking at the shield that we're all wearing. I'm like, are we Milan or Foggia, no Sherina? Like we're not mediocre. we're fucking Milan. And it goes back to the argument we always have. Lucchese. And it goes back to the argument that we're having. There's people that will tell you, but it's history. You gotta honor the shirt. You gotta honor the badge. But then you turn around and you say, that Milan died a while back. When Berlusconi left, that Milan died. Don't expect that no more. You gotta understand reality. So it's a tale. It's a double-edged sword. It's annoying that you have to go because a team like this should not. It's mediocre, bro.
John, but like, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm saying, but like it's just like a team like this. You got all the 8. Like the thing that bothers me the most. You want to go back to management. I keep getting bits and pieces to go to running back. You went crazy. You were gonna go get Lopetegui. I don't give a shit what you say. You were about to get him. All those hashtags. They saw the reaction. They say, shit. You know what? Forget about this. Even Lopetegui got offended. Oh, dare they? They don't like me. They reject the fans rejected me, and then you would think, okay, shit, they listen. Good, we're gonna get somebody good. You get Fonseca, everybody went even crazier.
Yeah.
Now you don't give a shit no more. You're still gonna go along with it.
But they're gonna say they listen to the fans, right? Because they took into account the feedback on the first one.
Give me Lopetegui.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, I want to be positive, so I don't know. I won't shit on the guy until he produces shit football, and then I'll wait. I mean, we'll see. Yeah,
who makes $2.5 million? Who makes?
Yeah, it feels like recycled goods because he's already been in Serie A. I mean, I heard a lot of Milanisti, even in Italy, say like, get us a young coach, an exciting young coach. We understand he's not like the full deal yet, but like someone that. Up and coming. I think most fans would have been okay with that as long as it was like a prospect, so to speak. But we're getting an old hat guy.
I think Thiago Motta or De Zerbi would have been more of this idea. Hey, we're going for a young guy, fresh ideas. Let's see what we can do.
I even think Van Bommel would have been accepted by the fans.
Yeah, I think so too.
You went and got a guy. Conceição would have been accepted. Like you literally got the shit of the budget.
Him, yes, because he has a great internet thing with that little dance with the cigar. You guys seen that after they won? It's it's a great meme that they put out there. But he seems to have won things with Porto recently. It just seemed like the better option.
He's also coached, very big matches for Porto.
Yeah,
he's coached his share of Champions League games where. He knows what it takes. And again, you're talking about a Porto team that is also, relatively limited in what they can do. So
constantly being poached, to survive. But that's 100%. But let's continue on because we could talk about the coach, the management this whole year. But I got a teacher on the panel, and we got to bust out the report card before we get through. And I'll just tell you guys 100%, all right? Certain people, if you made your damn debut, all right, in 6 years, in the last 20 minutes of the game, you ain't getting no review. You just failed. As Franco knows, you got to go to summer school. That's it. All right? Okay. I'm not. You didn't even show up for class. You didn't make attendance. You're gone.
Mandated seat time. That's
exactly. So let's start with a guy whose seat time I'm starting to get a little annoyed about, guys. All right? Mike Mignon. Let me just read some of the things. Now, full transparency, as I was writing my notes, I noticed about halfway through that it wasn't giving me the entire season. It was just giving me Serie A. So probably some of these numbers are slightly off, but Mike, 29 games, 10 clean sheets. This is the part that pisses me off, guys. No saves. 7 penalties, did not save one. Wow. My grade is a C. Franco, let's start with you. What's Mike's grade?
Yeah, I'm going to give him a C also. There were certain games where like all he needed to do was make that one extra save and he didn't. I mean, you can't give him a D or anything lower because of the guys in front of him, didn't really give him much help either. But at the same time, you can't give him a B,
No,
Just
because
because
B
you like-
would
just
be.
be-
Yeah, exactly.
Right, just because you like the guy. Like, you can't be like, well, he did his part. He didn't.
All right, before we get to Remo, I gotta
I
give
might
it a
as well
better.
use every-
Bebe's got the shirt. Go ahead.
I might as well. Every time you have your guy,
so
I'm just
awesome.
gonna put on a shirt.
That is so awesome. All right, so what's your score of Mignon, Pepe?
C minus.
All right. Well, C minus is a D. I told you we don't do minuses or pluses.
So D.
here.
So D. D.
D. Okay. Why D?
He
What-
went down. He went down a lot this year. Very, very. You for what he was, you almost said, "Wow, we got the best goalkeeper in Italy." It's like it's like money in the bank. Not this year. Not with all those goals that you. Yes, it's some of it's on the defense, but he wasn't the same, and we all know what Mike was.
Yeah.
We can't deny. And the shit that he gets hurt every year.
Yes.
It's annoying too. So.
All right. So Pepe's skewing a little harder. Where do you fall, Remo?
No, I'll stick with C. I agree with that. He was inconsistent this year. Went downhill compared to the prior year. Injury is always a factor.
Always.
I think if you think about the fact that probably Giroud was a better goalie than him and he only played 10 minutes, I don't know. Maybe
that's true. Getting the red card, throwing that
Right.
knee out of nowhere during that game. That was.
I mean, he went nuts in that game, right? And then Giroud saved his butt, but
Yeah.
Giroud actually came out on a ball. I think he played better than Mignon in that game, to be honest. So yeah, it's just inconsistent, and also talking to two other things. He talked about contract renewal when he wasn't playing well, which I think is a bitch move. And also,
I agree.
At the end of the year, I felt like he was resting himself for the Euros.
Yes.
The last 2-3 games, dude should have been playing. Don't tell me you're that banged up that you can't play. I don't know. It seemed like to me he wanted to be fresh for the Euros, and he was sitting. That was my opinion, but I don't know if it's true.
You know what? You might be skewing me to a D for that last topic. You're sitting resting for the France. I don't give a fuck. I've said this many times. I don't give a fuck about your national team. I don't care. I hope they don't even call you. How about that? Stay home. Southgate, keep disrespecting Tomori. Leave him home.
Proof for that, but yeah, I have no proof of that statement. But that's the way it seemed to me.
No, I don't. I don't have proof, but I feel like it's true. I like that. I'm gonna go with C2. I think it's fair. Most of the chat saying C. Let's go to our backup now. Marco. Now, yes, he's not a Tatarushanu, but I thought all in all, from what you expected, the guy, he played 7 games in Serie A. He had 2 clean sheets. He had 1 penalty he did not save. I'm going to give him a C because he didn't do anything spectacular, but this is what you should be expecting from a new backup goalkeeper. So, Remo, we'll start with you on this one. What do you got for Sporiello?
For sports Cielo, I'll throw him a B. I'll throw him a bone because you know what?
Right.
When he did show up, you gotta think about this too. A goalie who doesn't play consistently, he's always rusty, right? So, but he showed up when he was called upon. Even like that Juventus game.
Yeah.
So I'll get. Look, he's got the jersey there too.
I know.
I'll give him a B just because when he was called upon, he performed. So
yeah, no, that's a good point. That's cool. Franco, what do you think about Sporiello?
Am I giving this grade as if I wrote it before the friendly in Australia or after?
No, I mean, I don't know. That's up to you if you want to add that.
Right. Well, we'll erase the game in Perth from our memory, especially that first goal they looked, because that was one of the most horrendous things I've
What
ever
did
seen.
you call it, Franco? You called it scandalous. Oh no, that was the.
Yeah. No, that was me. Yeah. I said that the goal he gave up in Australia was scandalous. That being said, he was already in vacation mode. He was just chilling in Australia, a little jet lagged. So we won't hold it against him. I'm gonna agree with Remo. I'm gonna give him a B. I'm gonna give him a B because he got called upon to play in a couple of meaningful games. But then at the end of the season, he also got called upon to play in some of the most meaningless games.
Yeah.
And actually played his ass off. Like, actually made some pretty big saves in those last couple of games at the end, where anybody would have had the excuse not to be motivated. And one of the hardest jobs in sports, whether it's soccer or hockey, or like, let's just say American football with the backup quarterback, is to be the backup.
Yeah.
You know, and so to be that motivated in such a meaningless game as the backup keeper, I'm going to give him a B.
All right. Beppe, how you feel? First of all, I love it.
That's 3 Bs, baby.
3 Bs, you agree the same thing?
You know
Yeah,
why?
everybody
You know
in the
why?
chat is
Because
saying maybe
now-
I'm being too harsh.
For once, you actually had a guy that didn't make you shit your pants when you saw him on goal, like Tatarusano.
Yes.
You know,
He
Tatarusano
was legally blind.
Tatarusano, which is the only guy that I ever know to actually fix his eyes and get worse. The moment he got LASIK,
He
the guy
did.
went like, "What the hell happened to you?" I'm like,
That's true.
I actually feel somewhat of a little more safer with a back because Mike likes to go down every season
All the time. I know.
So the backup is vital for Milan.
That's true. Would we want? Well, I know he's under contract. Say Mike leaves. Would you feel comfortable with him and another person being number one? Franco, you're saying no. Definitely
Wait, so is the other person number one or is Sportiello number one?
What if they come in and he ends up being the number one? Would you feel comfortable?
No.
Yeah.
No.
All right. So, but B overall for the
this
back.
Is a guy, this is a guy
thinks-
who couldn't keep his job at a mid-table Serie A team
Yeah.
as a starter.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
'cause
that's
he
true.
could easily still be
You're
playing
right.
for a Torino, Fiorentina, type
Empoli,
of-
something like that. Yeah.
something like that, right?
All right. Yeah. That's true.
Everybody thinks, yes, a normal goalkeeper, you could still go forward. But we've seen goalkeepers do some crazy shit. We won a Scudetto because a goalkeeper sucked
Yeah.
and gave up a game.
I don't know. I just want to say I heard a couple of people starting to get a little hysterical, saying, "Mike, let Mike go. We got Marco." I don't know about that.
No.
But people were getting crazy that last month. All right, let's go to our captain. All right, Franco, you're my captain. So let's start with the captain. What do you think? Gone are the days of him holding Kvaratskhelia in his pocket. All right, this year was a different year for Calabria. I have him. 29 matches. He had 1 goal, which came in the last game or second to last game, and 3 assists the whole year. Defensively was a little suspect this year as well. Had some injuries as well. What's your opinion of Calabria?
This is a straight F.
Oh,
This is a straight F. I tried to be patient with this guy. There were years in the past where people in the group chat would be like, questo è un giocatore della Serie B. He doesn't even belong in Serie A. And he was still finding his way. He wasn't fully experienced yet. You're experienced now. You're experienced, and you were a major disappointment this season, both in your leadership skills, your play, your attitude, everything. I don't find much that is redeeming from his season, and it's not D worthy, because D is like, oh, you kind of tried. D is almost like, oh, you tried, but you didn't get the grade that you needed. Whereas F is you really couldn't get anything right this year,
Yeah. And Vince in the chat saying the same. Remo, how you feel, man?
All right. This is what I'm gonna do. On the field, I'm gonna give him a D. The only reason is because in the 1 game against PSG, he had an A game. I don't know how. He managed to maybe shut down Mbappe, or it was on a bad night, whatever. But on the field, D. Overall, F, because he's the least vocal captain we've had in I don't know how many years. Yeah, he's gotten worse over the years. He can't play terzino. He can't play mid, although Pioli tried to play him as mediano, right? He gets one out. Occasionally, he'll get a cross, but I think Antonini had more successful crosses. I mean, yeah, it's just the patience is exhausted with this guy, right?
Yeah.
We've given him enough time, and again, I think I'm just more disappointed. On the field, certainly he's not great. As the captain, he's just no dice niente. He never says anything, man. He doesn't step up. There's other players that, Gabbia talks more than him in the press conferences. Gabbia is more vocal guy than he is. I don't know.
Well, didn't Calabria have this moment where he was saying, "Oh, if you don't care, you should be here," or whatever? He had this moment where he kind of had a big
that's
huff
right.
puff
Yeah,
after
but
they
he
got
took the team. Yeah, he took the team to dinner, but they probably went to Five Guys in Galleria, Milan. Dinner, you get
They
these
got
guys.
5 guys over there.
They do now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They probably took him to like. That's right. Probably took him for dinner.
Yeah.
So
All right.
D/F, depending on field, off field.
All right. So you're in the middle there. Okay, Beppe. I got C. I guess I graded too high for Calabria, but what
I
what
give
do
him a G. I give him a G for it stands for garbage. I honestly, it bothers me because he plays all. He's the captain, so you would expect more.
Yeah.
And it's just he's just not good. So I don't know if I'm more mad at him because he sucks, or the asshole that keeps putting somebody that sucks on the field and as the captain. So I'm sorry. I mean,
wait, are we talking about Calabria or Montolivo? I'm confused.
you imagine that over the last 10, 15 years, as far as captains, like sidebar,
We've had some of the worst.
We had some of the worst. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Like, we had good players, but captain-wise,
we win a Scudetto, we bench our captain the whole ride. Basically, I mean, honestly, no, definitely. I say C. You guys are all in F territory. You got to be right. Most of the chat is somewhere in D and F. So let's go with that. All right.
I'm surprised. Usually the chat is
I know they're usually but I think some of them feel a lot like you guys. They're just done with Calabria. But here's one guy. Listen, I've liked him. 1, ever since I met him, but 2, when he was yelling to Paolo, please resign me. What is funny, I like Florenzi. I have a special spot for Florenzi. I thought, all in all, the guy, again, what is he, 33, 34 years old? He is a veteran in every sense of the word. And to me, he played his part. I have him at a B. 1 goal, 4 assists. He was basically, every game he was playing, he was in charge of the corners. He was setting up free kicks. I mean, the guy was a leader. Most of the time you saw him when they were having their huddles, he was the one talking, always being that leader type that maybe an Ibrahimovic was before, but to me, I thought Florenzi had a decent season. I'm giving him a B. But Franco, where do you stand with Florenzi?
Yeah, I'm going to give him a B. We don't, if we're not giving pluses and minuses, then I'll round down and give him the B. I think A would be a little too excessive, even though, like, if we're playing teacher here, I gave you an assignment. You were tasked with doing something, and you actually gave me a little more. So like that would be the excuse if you were to give him an A. But just the insufficiencies of the season in general, you can't really give somebody an A for that type of season. So it's a B.
Yep, I agree. Remo, where do you stand with Florenzi?
Yeah, same B. Not too much else to add. I'm good with that. B seems like the right one. I agree with the guys.
What about you, Beppe? How you feel?
I give him a B as well because he actually wants to play. Like, I see him.
Yeah.
Like, I genuinely, I got a little annoyed when he came to the 40-40 club because I felt like it's like, wow, he wants I was expecting more because he's a fun guy too. You see him as a fun guy, but then I thought about it. I was like, he's probably fucking annoyed. He's like, I gotta come all the way to New York when I should be on the field playing against you.
Yeah.
Like, he actually wants to play, and at that age, maybe you're at the point that you say, you know what, who cares? Let me just collect money. But he actually wants to play, even though maybe he doesn't have the youth and what he used to be. He still tries, and that's why I would give him a B. No questions.
Yeah. I agree. I think everybody's all on the same page. I just want to mention this guy. I don't know if you guys remember this guy. He made like 1 or 2 appearances.
Oh, wow.
Remember this guy? I couldn't even find, how bad this was? I couldn't find stats on him. I think this might have been the only shirt they gave him. That's how bad. And yes, I'm sorry to Gio. I know he was hoping for Terracciano, but I'm not. I'm sorry. He is the flop of signings this season. Why this guy is right there up at this poor kid at least went down on the field. Terracciano came in, made one mistake, never saw the field again until we were playing garbage time at the end. But yeah, I don't know what happened to that guy. But let's move on. All right, let me ask you, worst signing. This young kid who somehow was being put on the Argentinian first squad, which I have no idea why that was happening, or Terracciano in January.
Terracciano. Because he had Serie A experience, and he was supposed to add to the current roster. Like nobody ever heard of this other kid.
Yeah.
You know, and there was like barely any video of the kid. Like even when we picked him up, people were like, "Why are we getting this guy?" You know,
he cut class. No, but like he played one game out of desperation because our center backs were all going down, and then I don't know what happened. His leg like it exploded or whatever, and he was gone already. And literally, I don't even. Do we still own this kid? I have no idea. I could find no stats on him whatsoever. But let's go on. Let's just move on for this one. We said goodbye, so it's a farewell for the warrior, the Viking, Simon Kjær. 20 matches, dealt with some injuries. I have him as a straight F. This is I love you. I loved everything he stood for, but that last 10 minutes when he came on and giving up the tying goal to Salernitana is just wraps up the season how he's completely lost his step. I don't know. Honestly, if I was him, I wouldn't be looking to go play elsewhere. Maybe come to America, get a couple of more dollars. But other than that, it's a wrap. He's definitely lost too much speed in his legs. I think poor Kjær. But I have him as an F. Franco, what do you have? Are you as harsh as me?
No, because it'll go back to like what I said before, where it was like you give the kid the D because it's like you didn't really get it, but you tried. You kind of tried, right?
I needed some Francos in high school, man.
Within your personal ability, like you gave it your all. The problem is your all is simply not good enough for Milan at this stage of your career. Like you said, I see him playing in few places and being effective. I have a feeling he goes home and maybe plays like in the Danish league or something. So,
what about you, Remo? What do you say about the Great Dane?
I'll give him a C for the reasons that Franco said. I mean, it's just because he can't do it anymore, right? It's not that he's not trying, but you could just tell, right? When he gets on the field, he's lost his step. And like even in those games where sometimes if you have if you're paired with a faster CB, right, you can kind of get by. Like he was still struggling.
Yeah,
but, I love the guy.
He was.
Love the guy. I mean, to be fair, on the field, he couldn't keep up anymore, right? I mean, I think it was his time. It was his time.
I think there were moments, and as crazy as this is to say, because you look at these games and you say, well, they're friendlies, that during the summer, they're just picking up their, their conditioning at this point. But I saw back in the summer that if we ever had any real competition against Kjær, he was going to get eaten alive. And it's just sad that it's exactly what happened. But Pepe, what's your opinion of Kjær's season, man?
I feel bad that he's gone, but he should have been gone 2 years ago.
Yeah, somebody said that too. He should have left after 2022.
So for me, I give him a D only because I don't want to be as harsh with an F, because I just think it wasn't that he was we expected more of him. So it's just like a D. It's just like, very mediocre.
Yeah.
The failure is if you were expecting something from him. I don't think
D for Denmark. D for Denmark.
D for Denmark.
D for Denmark. I like that one. All right, so I'm being too harsh. I'm giving him F here. All right, Remo, you up first here. All right, okay. we're gonna pull out what I believe is our best defender. So let's go. How do you feel about Tomori's season?
I'll give him. I mean, that's tough actually, because I'd say B or B plus. I wouldn't say A, but he had a pretty decent season, pretty consistent with a couple moments of some lapses. I mean, overall the defense, we got too many goals, right? Like what was it, 49 goals in Serie A?
Way too many.
I mean, I just love him. I love him for his work rate. He's dedicated to the team. He did have that one save against PSG. I don't know if you guys remember, on the line.
Yeah,
that was a great effort.
He had 4 goals this season too. Pretty good output for a center back.
So I'll give him a B plus maybe, but not in A territory, but good enough. But yeah, I mean, I think he's definitely one of our starting center backs going forward. He has to
absolutely. Beppe, how you feel about Tomori?
Tomori actually, for a while, people were saying, "Oh, he's not the same that he was 2 years ago." So for once, when you decline to actually come back up, I gotta give him I gotta give him a B this year. I do. I mean, I don't know how many really have A's on this team, but except for like maybe a couple. But as far as I give him a B because
No spoilers.
No spoilers. We have an idea, but Tomori did manage to come back to form that we were accustomed to, because a lot of people were starting to say, "What happened to this guy? He lost himself." You know.
Yeah, there was that little bit of time.
Yeah.
And I think Tomori, just the last 2 seasons, he has these couple of games, and
Let's
then
put it
he
this way.
seems to lose it a little bit.
What they were saying about Tomori a year ago, 2 years ago, they're saying about Chow now. So
no spoilers. I said.
I'm
just saying. But you're going B. All right, Remo's B. You're B. Franco, where are you standing? Now the chat is saying C. They're skewing a little lower.
B, and these guys said it all. We're not going to waste any more time into B.
Yeah, I agree. I had B too. He's not my highest center back. We'll talk about him in a second. All right, let's go to a guy who severely dropped off this year. Kalulu. All right, so Kalulu only played 9 matches in Serie A with only 4 starts this year. He had no assists, no goals. I couldn't bring it to give him an F, but I'm going with a D here. Franco, what's your thoughts on Kalulu's season?
Same thing. Like he doesn't deserve the F because a lot of it was probably contributed by outside factors and injury and just inconsistency of his season. But yeah, it's a D.
And Gio would say that he thinks that some of Kalulu's injury goes on Pioli for forcing him to play longer, or he knew that he wasn't 100% and he put him in a spot. But what say you, Beppe, in regards to Kalulu?
I'll just be very straightforward. I give him a D.
A D, okay. Beppe, Remo, what do you say?
I'll say D as well, but he barely played enough to get a Volto. But I'll say D because of what the guy said. The only thing I'll say is I kind of want to see this guy back on the right side as a right back, get Calabria out of there, put this guy back on the right side. That's what I want as the starting right back, if we don't get anybody else.
Yep.
I agree. And I know where he signed, I believe, until, is it 2027? I feel like he has a couple of more years. We need to just figure out what position we're going to rock with him in. Hopefully our new coach figures that out. But for me, I had him as D. I think F would have been a little too harsh. But okay. Let's go to the next guy.
Oh, boy.
All right. The German vibranium, as Gio likes to call him. Now, Remo, let's start with you, man. There was a tough year for Malik, man. 21 matches, only 1 assist. He had about 19 starts. He looked really atrocious in some games, awful. But what's your opinion?
This is what I mean, it's got to be D. Almost D. I don't say F because it's a growing pain year for a center back. And maybe we didn't expect it, but this was coming. I mean, the guy wasn't gonna play out of his mind. He's making mistakes that young center backs make, like against Juventus, the red card.
No, the red card.
Yeah. So hopefully he grows from this. I still think he has a lot of qualities, athletic quality. But it's a growing pain year, and that's what it was. I'm just gonna leave it at that because I don't think there's more to it, to be honest. He had to kind of play a lot of games. We had a lot of center back injury issues, so I'll just leave it at that. Hopefully, that's all it is. If we start to see signs that it's more than that, then we got to be worried. But for now, I'll just call it a D as a growing pains year.
Franco, what's your opinion of Child's season?
F. Unfortunately, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have him an F too.
Listen,
too many stupid brain farts.
If I give you an assignment and you literally can't get anything right on the assignment, I can't give you the D.
No, that's fair.
Hey, watch your mouth.
It's not wrong. I can't argue with that either.
No, that's true, man. I mean, there were too many games that just looked bad. Beppe, what's your opinion of Chow, man? The German cracking the wall this year.
F because a huge fall from grace. Now he may come back with a vengeance next year, but we're talking about this year, and this year,
that's true.
Compare to the growing pains or not, we expected him to get better, and he got dramatically worse.
Worse, he did.
Like it's unrecognizable. Like we're all sitting there like, but we thought you were like, the real deal. So I don't know what
We thought our second center back was set. We had Kier back up, and then obviously Kalulu. They would fight for 3 and 4, but damn, were we wrong on this guy right now? Maybe they don't. I mean, there were some talks about people being interested in him. Maybe we could turn a profit. Maybe the next coach doesn't want that. Who knows? Here's a guy who he changed my fucking mind. All right, listen. 38 matches. That's all competitions. That's Villarreal. 25 in Milan. He had 3 goals. Ladies and gentlemen, the first and only A, Matteo Gabbia, 2024. Screw you, Spalletti, for not giving this kid a call up. All right? I'm giving him an A just because he turned it around. Getting the call back. You were discarded. Go to loan. We don't want you here. Big D Gabbia gets an A. You're right, G. Franco, what's your opinion of Gabbia, man?
I can't give him an A. I got to give him a B.
Oh, my God.
I apologize to everybody. I know, like, I see the chat, like, blowing up with an A, and everybody's, like, smiling. He still lacks a certain level of speed that you need, and reaction speed as a center back, where it was still detrimental in certain games. Like, it's not like he came back and actually turned things around for the entire team. So, like, obviously he did well. He exceeded expectations. He did extremely well in a very difficult situation, and hats off to him. But if it was an A, then it would have, like, really – it would have saved the defense on another level. So I got to give him a B. I'm sorry.
All right. I like that you're bringing it down. I like it. Rebo, what's your opinion, man?
You know what? I'll give him the A. I'll tell you why. Because he fit. You got to finish strong, baby.
Strong. Baby.
Doesn't matter how you start; it's how you finish. This guy finished strong. Baby. He came back from loan, a transformed guy. Unbelievable. Like nobody expected this. Plus, look,
chip on the shoulder. Yeah.
I'll give him credit for that. He had a lot of goal contributions, which also unexpected. I liked his fire on the field. Like even when I think it was the game that the Curva like walked out and he scored and he kind of put his ears up like, hey, well, I'm still here. Like we're still playing. Like we're still fighting. So I like that from him. Like I said before, he actually got in front of the mic a couple times and spoke the truth. Like when we didn't play well. So I give him extra credit for that in that sense.
I like see extra credit, Franco. You didn't offer Gabbia extra credit. That's what
This isn't remedial math. Milan is an AP class. Okay?
Oh, I so like it.
There's no participation trophy, good for you stickers here.
But he wasn't in the AP class all year. He came in January and caught up.
Yeah, they put him in special ed. They sent him to Villarreal, and he broke out. He made his way back in. Beppe, how you feel, man? You got his jersey. How do you feel about Gabbia's breakout season, supposedly?
I'll tell you one thing. He gets an A, but he smells because this is very. I'm holding this like this. I'm holding my breath, but this still stings from the.
Listen, that's the smell of success right there.
So I give him an A only because if there was like minus and pluses, but I give him an A because he came in. I swear, nobody thought.
Nobody.
When we were like when they were getting him, I'm like, you cheap fucks! You're gonna go grab him to come back because you don't want to spend money in January. He came, and I swear he was.
He had something to prove. Definitely.
And like Remo said. He's more of a captain than Calabria is.
Yeah.
He puts his face out there. So for that and that, he gets an A. For the 6 months, he gets an A.
I also give him extra credit because he's from Buenos Aires, which is my dad's hometown. So there you go.
Oh,
there you go. Let me ask you a question though, Bebe. Do you ever take the jersey and smell it like Giroud does? With that one? No way.
I've had to air out a couple of them because they were just bad and they made the room like whatever. Wow. Some of them are bad, but like there is some of them that you get curious of, like Theo with his perfume or whatever it is that they told me he likes to wear perfume. They told me, Theo, you're gonna smell something. This is just what he wears. There's nothing. Nobody sprayed nothing on the jersey. and it was
Okay.
it was curious, and I do smell it. But some of them you don't have to smell. There you go.
There you go. Listen, you smelt them. We got to bring them up. So let's start with you, Pepe. What do you got? He's got 5 goals. Again, I might be wrong in regards, but I think this is only just sitting out. But I don't think he really missed many matches in regards to being hurt. More of just like resting or being on a suspension. But 32 matches in Serie A, 5 goals, 4 assists. I have Theo again. Maybe I'm skewing a little high. And when I was watching the replay, I saw, damn, Theo has a lot of assists to somebody later on who kind of turned his season around in about a month. Most of it all came from Theo, but I have him at a B. What do you have him at, Pepe?
I think, and it may sound crazy, but I feel like he's a C this year.
Yep.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong there.
And
this
is probably going to be the last vote you're going to give him because I actually don't see him coming back next year. So I think I think he did what he did, but like it was just like, it was like vanilla. It's like, you didn't do too bad, you didn't do good. You see.
I love vanilla. So, but okay, I got you. Remo, what do you say on Theo's season? I feel like people are gonna say C more because they have this expectation of Theo. What say you?
I'll say it should be a C, but he's good enough to be an A. And so I'll just say B because his stats were probably good enough, but I just didn't like some of his attitude this year. I felt like sometimes he was slacking off a little bit. Like this is a guy who should be an A without too many questions because that's the level of player that he is, that as a left back. So that's why I'll give him a B. I'm being generous though because I think he mentally I don't think he was quite there some games, but he did play a lot of matches. So I'll just balance it out. I'll say B.
All right, Franco, what's your opinion of Theo?
I think Remo swung me a little bit because I was ready to give him a C. Well, I don't know. I'm like so in the middle. It's like B or C. I don't know.
Again, I feel like the C is more of the thought that he should be better than the 5 goals, 4 assists, that he has so much more to offer. Again, how many of those are crosses that people mess up when he provides it to him right on a plate?
No, but
defensively,
if anything,
did he take any real steps forward this season? There were moments when we had to play him as center back, which, again, looked a little box at the time, but he did pretty well. Again, the stupid idea.
I'll say one thing. Maybe I sway him even more. A player that you're looking, if he does go, to sell him between 80 and 100 million because we think he's the best player of the bunch as far as making money. A top player of 100 million, 90 million, whatever it is, with a season that he had, is he really a B? I feel like, a player like that should be, I'm not saying he's the best. That's why I say C.
That's what I meant.
Maybe he goes back.
He should be an A. That's what I meant. He should be an A because he's good enough to be an A every year.
Yeah.
He should be an A. Yeah.
I have a B. I know you're going with a C. You're kind of leaning towards C as well. So we'll just say C because Theo, everybody expected more. And if it is his swan song with us, that's very depressing. I hope that's not going to be the case. But also just touching here, Simic and Caldara, no grade. Simic played most of the year in Primavera. Sorry, Gio will do the Primavera roundup. But let's go to our midfield, all right? Let me get over here. We're going to start with the guy who we made fun of the entire offseason. We didn't want to even get his name right. We were calling him left ass cheek, left butt cheek, spread them cheeks, everything. But you know what? The Ruben sandwich was pretty decent. 10 goals across all competitions. He had 29 matches, 26 starts. For me, despite the fact there was a bit of a drop-off towards the end, honestly, I'm going B. Let's speed up the process. But Franco, what you got here for Loftus-Cheek?
No, I like this guy way too much to give him anything lower than a B.
I agree.
Yeah,
Remo, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's it.
Remo, what you got about Loftus-Cheek?
I'll be honest. I love this guy's left ass cheek. I love his right ass cheek. I love it all. this guy gets an A because I love the way he plays. And his stats were, obviously picked up in the second half of the year, but the way he attacks the goal, I love the way he plays. I think the problem though is going to be the next coach. Like how he plays him and where he plays him. Because this guy brings, you got to be honest, this guy brings a level of physicality and size that we haven't had before. But I don't think it was used correctly. I'll even criticize Pioli, which I don't often do. There's better places to play this guy. Even Pioli couldn't figure it out. Do you play him in front of the defense? Do you play him trequartista? Do you play him box to box? So I think that's going to be a challenge for the next one. But this guy's got a full toolkit, man. I think this guy is the real deal. I as long as he stays healthy, he's a huge asset for us. So I'm going to give him A. I think it was a great buy, cheap. We didn't pay a lot, and we're getting good return on him. So hopefully it continues. But yeah.
Pepe, what you got about Loftus-Cheek?
This is something that if we had minuses, I would be flirting between a B+ and an A-.
Yeah.
But because there's times that he went down a little bit, but overall, I got to give him an A. Only because, like you said, physicality. We lacked that over the last few years.
We did.
Yeah, he's a freaking unit. We never recovered from Kessie leaving. I'm not saying he replaced Kessie, but you need some of that bulldog. Yeah, physicals, whatever. So I'm gonna give him an A.
I got you, dude. I agree. I think A is fair. I had him at B, but you're swaying me towards an A. All right, this guy. There's a bit of a discussion with this guy. Obviously, he was hurt for most of the season. Came back, then had a bit of a short run before he decided to go pick up his national team. As much as I love that. But Benacer, only 2 goals, 2 assists, about 20 matches overall, all competitions. I give him a C, guys. What say you, Franco, on Benacer? Have we seen? Are we past his best days?
I don't think so. I'm hoping that the injury hangover was just an injury hangover and not a forever, physically changing injury.
Yeah.
I almost feel like we didn't see enough of him this year to even give him a sufficient grade. It's so hard. Like I almost want to give him a D, but I'll give him a C just out of respect, for doing his best to turn it around at the end.
Remo, what's your grade on Benacer?
Yeah, I'd say C, just because it's borderline sense of auto as well, because he just didn't play enough for me this year. But the injury hampered him all year. He was inconsistent. Yeah. He had that 1 assist. What was that? I think to Leao, was it towards the end of the year? Great pass. Yeah, just flashes this year, but hopefully the best is not behind him; it's in front of him. Because if not, we're in trouble. But
I agree.
Yeah, it's a C. I'll say C.
C. All right. What about you, Pepe?
D. I didn't
D.
see.
All right.
I didn't see anything. I understand I didn't see anything because he was hurt, but yeah, I just didn't see anything to give him like a sufficient grade.
I agree. Hopefully next year, if he's still on the roster, will end up being a better year for Benacer. All right. What I believe is our best midfielder this season. I got him at a B. He had 3 goals. I believe pretty much all 3 goals are like wonder goals. If this guy doesn't score a blast or some crazy little pass through the whole defense, he has a hard time even hitting the target. But for me, I still give him a B overall. You know what I like about this guy? Never got hurt the whole season. Was healthy the entire time. Franco, how do you feel about Tejani?
You should have never said that, man.
I'm gonna give him a C.
What?
Yeah, I don't like this guy. I really don't. He's a good player. He has skill. He does very good things in flashes, but then he'll find himself. All you got to do is place it, and you're gonna you just made a magical play. You found yourself at the top of the 18. All you got to do is place it, and you're fucking shanking it, and you're skying it, and you're sending it to the curvetta in the corner. I don't understand. This guy, like you just said, he scored 3 worldies, but anytime he found himself in a position to give the team a real chance to go up 1 goal or find the tying goal or whatever it was, I just found myself seeing this guy either sky it or shank it. And defensively,
very suspect defensively.
Listen, okay, maybe that's not what he should be out there to do, but there's a defensive limitation there, and I know people are gonna hate that answer, but I don't. Like
I like it. I like see Franco. This is you don't know what you're gonna get in this class, and I like it. I like it. Saying C, and that's how it is. Remo, how do you feel about this, Johnny?
Oh man, I was gonna go B, but now Franco's telling me I'm the lower vote.
Franco is skewing everybody. But listen, but this is the point, man. Yeah, he's bringing up good points of why the C is fair. I'm seeing things that he was healthy the whole time, made all these good things. For me, first year in Serie A, seemed to adapt well. You know, how much of it was Pioli and the squad and the players around him. But all in all, I thought a B was fair. But what do you think? You thinking more C?
I mean, I'm kind of torn. I'll stick with B. I was going to say B because what you just said, Fabio. I the only thing. See, I think a similar comment for Loftus-Cheek. I think Reininder's whoever the coach is going to have to figure out how to best utilize this guy. I don't think he's a regista. I'm not sure what he is. Because Franco makes a good point too. Like, where do you play this guy in the field? Like, it looks like he shoots these bangers from outside, but and he's got a motor, right? Engine. The guy runs for forever, but it's something you got to figure out what the right spot is to put this guy. I'm not sure yet, but I'll say
I agree. All right, Beppe, last Tijani, how do you feel about the Dutchman?
C, because he's too bipolar. He's too up and down.
That's Milan, though.
I know. He fits the team right good, but
he fits great. He loves it. We got to get him to learn Italian.
He was good. In the beginning, he was good.
Yes.
Then he disappeared again. Yeah, he hasn't been. He didn't get hurt all year, which is a stat that I didn't know about. But that goes to show you that
he disappeared a lot.
So many times you don't even know.
I agree.
When he was there, so C.
C. All right, you got C. Franco saying C. Me and Remo kind of hanging around the BC area, so we'll go with C. All right, this guy, we're not even going to talk about him. Dr. Pobega, I don't know how you finished your doctorate. You're getting an F. I hope you're not on the roster next year.
When we speak about smelly jerseys, me and Remo got this thing going. This is paisano from Trieste. The smelliest jersey I've ever gotten in my life.
Oh, wow.
And this was from Milan Newcastle. I don't know how much he ran that game, but his BO was incredible. Never in my life.
Does Fettuso start with an F?
You did mention that. Yeah. Wow.
And here it is. I'm not even going to put it on.
I can smell it here. I can smell it through the thing.
All right, so let's go to the next guy. Poor Pobega. He stinks. But he's got a doctor's degree. I don't have that. So, Dr. Pobega, you get an F. All right. This guy I want to talk about because he is an American. I lean towards some internationals here. But I just want to say he seemed so promising in the beginning of the season. But there was clear moments towards the second half of the season that he was just progressively getting worse. He looked like he could hold the ball. He had some good ideas. But then he would lose the ball. There was no offense. He didn't score the entire season. So for me, I know this is a little harsh, but I feel like it's not F-worthy. Definitely a D. He needs to do better. But again, he's only 21 years old. Right. He's got so much time. But Franco, what's your opinion of Musa?
Yeah, I mean, he's young. I mean, as of right now, maybe when he's 26, 27, he turns out to be a player that can play at this level. Right now, for me, he's more of like a mid-table, like Empoli, Genoa type of guy. And, just certain games, it's not a guy that you can rely on. So I'm going to give him, I'm going to give him a D.
Remo, how you feel about Musa?
I agree. D, because I got to be consistent with my comments. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. He finished poorly. He started decently, didn't grow throughout the year. Maybe he was misutilized, but that's the other thing too. The guy was all over the field, but when he was on the field, it was a little too disjointed for my I like the guy though. I think he's young. He's got promise. He's got to be D though for what how he finished the season. Just limping into the end of the season. I wasn't impressed. D could trend upwards. But,
All right, Beppe.
I mean, I'm flirting with F, but I'm just gonna say D because of the way he started. Like he showed something. I think that's what pisses you off the most because you saw something, and then it was like, what the hell happened?
I honestly said to Gio early in the season, I have a feeling Moose is going to be one of those guys that when everybody's healthy, he's the guy that they have to pencil in somehow. And
Right, and
was I wrong.
Well, and maybe that's the issue, though, is that, like, you got this 20-year-old kid looking at his coach and saying, "Are you going to tell me what my position is this season?"
Exactly.
And maybe that's why you don't give him the F. You give him a D.
I agree. All right. Last midfielder. All right. And I did summertime. So if you guys are going to have a cookout, you better invite him. He knows how to man the grill. He throws a great party. But this season, I give him a D. Yeah, had a couple of moments. Only one goal, which was a nice goal. 2 assists on the season. He had only about 17 starts. Again, I appreciate the kid staying on. Even where it seemed like Pioli was freezing him out, basically telling him, look, I'm not going to play you. And he still stayed here. One of the biggest Milanista on the damn team. Knows all the chants. I mean, this guy knows more chants than most of the people who come to the club. This guy is amazing in regards to that. But on the field, I appreciate all the rah-rah, but it's a D. Franco, how do you feel about Adley? Is he a part of our plans next year?
No, you said it all. D, and it's like, the Remo notion of, how you finish.
Yeah, and he did not finish well.
No, he declined.
Remo, what say you? You're on the D train as well? Hey, yo.
It's got to be, yeah. I mean, I was going to say C trending D, but D because he didn't, he didn't improve. I think we saw some flashes, right? But then it's like, okay, you gotta pick up on defense. You gotta track back. You gotta, you can't just sort of play half a game.
Exactly. Which happened too many times with him. Maybe a good half. Second half, he looks atrocious. We don't know why we're even subbing him in sometimes. Beppe, what's your opinion of Adley? Look at you have that's not even this year. That's last year's, baby.
D. Only because I love him, but I feel like he's like the reincarnation of Samu Castillejo. We love him.
Yes, same number.
Cuore rossonero, but in the end, you can't lie to yourself, just because you like the guy.
Exactly.
I was thinking Johan Gourcuff because he's French, but he's the new Johan Gourcuff.
Gourcuff was more talented.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's get the tears and love out of the way. All right, we're gonna start forward. So we're gonna start with this guy. Obviously, we know he's gone. 16 goals on all competitions, 9 assists. Maybe I'm drunk with love because I watched the goodbye video. What was it, yesterday or this morning? I don't even remember what the hell it was. But for what he is, the young 37, because God damn it, 37 is young, okay? All right, stop with this old 37. I'm giving him an A. I'm giving him an A for what he gave, what he continually tried to do. I know he probably doesn't deserve the A, but God damn it, I'm giving it to him. Franco, what say you? Bring me down to earth.
Yeah, I gotta give him a B. There were certain games where it's like we just needed that one extra thing, and he just couldn't provide it. I mean, obviously the age caught up with him, but it's still B.
I agree. Well, what say you, Remo?
My heart says A, my mind says B for what Franco just said. Also, God bless this guy, man. We had him for 3 years. Wish we had him when he was a little bit younger, but he gave so much to the club. I'm glad they gave him a proper send off. He deserved it. I think we love this guy. We learned to love him quickly, and the fans got enamored with him. I mean, he delivered a Scudetto. This year, he did what he could. He can't anchor like the front line, right? And, let's be honest. The only one, I wish we had that one back. I think it was the Roma game, the first leg, where he was like two meters out and he just skied it, or I don't know. There was one.
Yes, that was that. I believe that was the one. Yeah,
man. So, but I love Giroud. Gotta B. Let's say B plus. All
right. What say you, Beppe, on Giroud?
Since you told me to do it, I'm just gonna do it because it's him. So. I'm gonna kiss it because I love this guy, and as much as I love him, I can't lie and give him an A. I'm gonna give him a B.
All right, fair enough. Listen, I know I'm drunk with emotion. That's why I'm giving him an A. All right. This guy had a bit of a renaissance. This guy might have been having a better December than Santa Claus because everybody who's calling for this guy, I don't know if I even want him on the team next year. But what's your that? This is
Jovic.
Oh yeah,
the mustache must have threw him off. But for me, he's got 7 goals in all competitions with 1 assist. And I'm pretty sure 3 or 4 of them are all assists from Teo. Again, he had 1 good month, and then he went back to sleep. I'm giving him a D. I don't want him for next year, but maybe I'm being too harsh. Franco, what's your opinion?
I disliked the acquisition when we got him. And
last minute.
I didn't even expect a goal from this guy because he was so bad in his time at like Fiorentina and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I also came off a Fonte year where I had him at Fiorentina, and I picked him like very early. Like I wanted so much from him when he was there that I just like hated him so much, and he like won me over a little bit this year. I'll give him a C.
All right, a little skewed up. Remo, what's your opinion of Jovic, our backup Giroud?
Yeah, no, C's good because he did enough when called upon. Nobody expected him to, but he did what he's supposed to do: is come in and get a couple goals as a backup striker. I mean, I don't think he's our solution. Certainly is.
No,
we don't know, but like I don't know if they're going to keep him. But C, I think it's sufficiente. Like he did what was more than was expected,
yeah.
but that was what he did was what he should have been doing, and that's
to start. Yeah. I just feel like Jovic was coming up like 3-4 years ago when he was still at Real Madrid, coming up as a name. It's like we came to this name too late, and he didn't really provide. Again, this when you bargain buy at the last day of the transfer window. These are the options you're going to pick. What's your opinion, Pepe?
It probably is a C because he did what he was supposed to do. It took him.
Yeah.
It took his sweetest time to start scoring, but
yes, he did.
When he did, he scored all at once, and then he went back to sleep. So it's C.
All right. Speaking of waking up and going back to sleep sometimes, come on, Pepe, you're gonna start here. All right, I will give you the floor here. This guy, 47 matches across all competitions, 15 goals, 14 assists. I preference this vaccine. I dare you motherfuckers to say something bad about Leao. I don't care even if you just assume he should have done better, he should have done this. He's still a fucking A, and don't you forget it. Pepe, how you feel?
Fuck you and your A. I'm giving him a C.
Oh
exactly,
my
because
God.
He's fucking bipolar. You know what I used to start calling him on the chats? Niang 2.0.
Wow.
And for a while, I stopped doing that because he grew. But I'm going to say this, even though I'm going to take a little bit of time. I had this conversation coming back from Legends, going to Whitestone after the Scudetto game. I turned around to Franco, and there was a couple of more people on the car, and I said,
I literally don't remember anything about that car.
I remember saying to him, guys, let me be honest. Do you think Leao gets any better than this? And a lot of people said no. So, did he get better from the Scudetto? Yeah, no.
Maybe but I'm crazy, yeah.
But you know what it is? He's got flashes. That's what gets you frustrated. He's lucky I'm giving him a
gotcha. All right, fair enough. Remo, what's your opinion of Leao?
Oh, boy. How much time you got? No, he should be an A+. He should be an A+ because this guy, that's the level he should be at. I'll say B because he contributed a lot of assists. Less goals this year, more assists. I guess because he thinks he's a number 10 now. I mean, he's still our best player, should be our best player. I get frustrated with this guy because sometimes it looks like he's walking and like, he's always smiling. But like, I'm like, dude, you should be killing guys every game. Like, I understand it's a long season. It's tricky. I'll say B. He should be an A+. The guy said he wants to win Ballon d'Or. You want to win Ballon d'Or, you got to play every game like it's your last, and you're the leader,
That's
and
true.
You got to show up. So don't say I want to win Ballon d'Or. Okay, so you got to do that. You got to start every game. You got to show up, and you got to do it. So yeah, B.
Everybody thinks I'm being a little too crazy with my A. Franco, how do you feel?
Yeah, I'm with Pepe. I'm going to give him a C for the reasons that Remo just said, though.
Yeah,
like you can't play your balls off because the whole world is watching you play PSG at San Siro and you're going to play the best game of your life. And then in Salernitana, when we need 3 points, I'm just using Salernitana as an example. I'm not calling out a specific game, but like where we need 3 points to keep up with the leaders and try to keep pace. Like you're sitting there literally walking, and your body language is garbage. I got to give you a C. Like you had great games this season. Okay, you had important assists. Your assists, made up for your lack of goals. Like, I think the expectation of the number of goals is unfair from the media. I think that was the one unfair shake that he got from the media this season, where they were like, ha segnato più, whatever player, But it's a C. Your body language is unacceptable if you want to be that world-class player.
I agree. You're 100% right. 100%. All right. So we got one major player. We're going to quickly go through the two backups here really fast. All right. Okafor was basically like a super sub. He got into 28 games. I had him at a B, 6 goals, 3 assists. Leao, clearly his backup. Franco, overall, Okafor, how did you feel?
I was hoping that Okafor was Giroud's backup.
I agree.
And then that Jovic was the third striker, because any game that Noah Okafor went in as a striker, he scored, he did well, and he was comfortable. Now, if you're Noah Okafor and Pioli's telling you to go do what Leao does every game, that's a very hard task, and that's not fair.
I agree.
It's not fair, because it's not where he belongs, and it was clear after like the second time that he did it. And then like when you're gonna get subbed in with the B line, like it's freaking middle school soccer, and it's like and Chukwueze and Leao's
Jovic,
coming out, right? Leao's coming out. Pulisic's not on the field anymore, and maybe Jovic comes on with you guys too. It's like, what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? He looks comfortable when he's up top. I would have liked to see him more up top with Giroud, almost like two guys working together up there.
Yeah.
And Pulisic behind them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And I really hope that they don't give up on him, and I hope he's not discouraged enough to be like, listen, I got to go somewhere else, because this guy can score, and he can make big plays in certain games, especially in Serie A. This is a guy that in those mid-table, low-table games where he's going to get you the points that you need with a little bit of turnover, but put him in the right spot. Like, Jesus Christ.
I think, Rima, you feel the same way, kind of all these playing Leao's backup, not playing as a striker. And also, Gio would always mention, you don't reward the guy. The guy scores a goal, and the next game, you put him on the bench. What the hell?
Yeah, he probably deserved more minutes than he got this year. I agree with that. I mean, I thought when we got him, he was going to be Giroud's backup too. I mean, I know he can play left wing, but it's crowded over there already, like Leao and Pulisic. Like, I don't know. Like, I would actually give him an A, like a subs A, if that makes sense. Like,
no, I hear you.
He was the best sub. I loved him as a sub. Come on, he scored some important goals too.
Really important, yeah.
For the minutes that he got this year, I think he's an A. As like a sixth man award kind of thing. He's like their best.
Oh, I like it. NBA reference. I like it.
So he's our sixth man kind of guy. So I liked him a lot this year. More. I want to see more.
What about you, Pepe? What's your opinion of Okafor?
See, he did what he had to do.
Skewing a little down. We're all kind of in the B level. Pepe.
He came in. I feel like he came in. He didn't do nothing special. He did what as coming up.
What he was expected to do. Gio saying in only 1,000 minutes this season, which is not very much in regards to a guy who was starting at another team, playing Champions League ball and stuff like that. Obviously, he played well against us. The one time we played him when he was at Salzburg, right? Is that where he was before? Mm-hmm. All right, but let's move on to the other guy before we get to what I believe is the main guy we got to talk about. But let's go, Chuck. Obviously, the biggest signing we had this offseason, a lot of expectations, was going to be the surefire right wing. Didn't necessarily happen. Then suffered a little bit of an injury. Then scored a great goal in the Champions League. Went to his nation. Didn't really pick up too much steam. What's your opinion, Franco? Let's start with Chuck here, man.
I actually think he trended upwards towards the end of the season. I think he had a pretty good run in the early spring, like where if like this was if you were giving out like team awards, like maybe most improved player award would go to this guy. Honestly, he was trending F for such a long time.
That's Fabio's reward. Don't you forget it.
I apologize.
No, but I hear you. I hear you. What you're saying.
He was trending F for so long, and I would give him a C.
I see. That's where I'm going to. Remo, what's your opinion of Chukwueze?
Yeah, I'm on board. He's good. I think he also probably of all the players that we got in the summer, to be fair, right? He was bought late in August, came in from Villarreal, right?
Yeah.
Came in very late. Team was already had been in camp for a couple weeks, preseason. This guy took a long time to just get used to Serie A, get used to Italy. So it happens, right? Like he wasn't getting a lot of minutes, and now, like Franco said, he showed some good things in the spring. I mean. Maybe some remedial math in the summer, and they'll be good for next year. Like,
all right.
I think
Very true.
I liked what he put out in the spring a couple of times. He's got some promise. Yeah.
It made us wonder why Pioli wasn't giving him the time to start and was only giving him 20 minutes at the end of this end of games. Beppe, what's your opinion of Samuel?
When we did the transfer window, it was my favorite signing. That's before he started playing. So I want to give him a D because that's what I think he deserves. But I also know that Pioli is a scumbag. That when he was doing good,
He didn't
the
play
moment that you finally got him to do good, just kept him in. So I'm going to give him a C to spite Pioli.
Hey, Pioli. I have him at a C, so I think that's fair. All right, here we go. Let's go. Come on, baby. Listen, this is the best player we had this season. I don't care what anybody has to say. If I could give him an A+, I would. Pulisic, 36 matches. The guy, they were all crying. Oh, he got hurt at Chelsea. He's not good anymore. Guess what, motherfuckers? He was great. 15 goals, 11 assists, all match. The guy doesn't even play right wing. The guy doesn't play right wing. He plays left wing. We wanted to see him as Cam. He gets one chance there, plays well. I mean, game winner goals. I mean, great chemistry, obviously, with the players he's played with before. But for me as an American, and Franco's wonderful sign that he got to make, hey, baby, Franco, how do we feel about the fucking Captain America?
I haven't given an A to anybody yet. Maybe Loftus really did deserve it. This is my only A. How do you not? How do you not? It's it's the MVP of the year for Milan. Like you said, not on the side that he's used to. New country, new league. With the exception of two guys, he's meeting all new people, or three guys really. He's living in Busto. He's not even living in Milano.
I feel bad for the guy just because of that.
Listen, with all things considered, and then he gets called to international duty. It's like having another South American player. He's got to go all the way across the ocean to play freaking Trinidad and all this other bullshit, and go, play on, patches in certain countries and all that kind of stuff during qualifiers. He really did well. He would come back from international duty and still be ready. He played incredible matches in all the competitions that we played in. You get an A, buddy.
That's right. Remo, come on, baby.
The captain of the U.S. national team. What else can you say? A+, everything Franco said. This guy's the only Milan player who lifted a trophy this year, the Nations League. So, okay, he actually lifted a trophy this year. So what else can you say? He did it all, man. He actually, he was what a great signing, what a great first season. And I'm actually happy for him personally, just like because people, like you said, Fabio, people were talking crap about this guy, like like Beppe always says, different place, different outcome, and lucky for us, hopefully it continues. Obviously, that's the only thing I can hope. But this guy was much more than we could have expected. He's got me eating too much Hershey's chocolate now, but he was our best player. What else can you say? I don't think you can argue that, honestly.
No, our best signing, best player of the season. But Beppe, what's your opinion of USA?
First of all, we lifted a trophy. Put some respect on the Silvio Berlusconi trophy.
School was that
Number one. Number two, listen, Remo said 6th player of the year, which he referenced the NBA. I'll go as far as using an American trophy. The comeback player of the entire, I don't want to say the world, but I'll say European football.
Yeah.
Because this guy, everybody had him for dead, including Chelsea, because Chelsea just let him go.
20 million, right? Something like that? Not even.
For half. Yeah, half of what they paid, basically.
Something like that. Like Franco said, he came to a new league, new country, and it's like he was meant to be there. It's like he came back to his Borussia Dortmund days.
Yeah.
So you
The
can't ask for
LeBron
more.
James of soccer. I was waiting for somebody to
So he
say.
gets an A. He definitely gets an A without question.
Absolutely. All right. So we were going to have another segment, but we're running way too long. So we're going to just skip that one. But guys, we're going to actually get a chance to meet in person again. Hopefully, if not some Euro games or whatever, we're going to be all together on the 27th. Let's push this thing up, even though it still has Drew on the picture. I'm still going to use it. 27th in July, Yankee Stadium, Milan, Manchester City. I don't know. I'm excited. I know it's a friendly. The prospect of all being together to be at Yankee Stadium. I've never seen a football game there before. And yes, there was a bit of a mix-up with tickets and all this other stuff, but the idea of getting as many Milan fans together, to me, it's very exciting. Franco, how are you feeling? I mean, we're, like a month and a half away from this. I'm pretty hyped. How are you feeling regarding this?
I'm stressed out.
Damn, yeah.
No, I mean, obviously, we're gonna have a lot of, a lot to do, and hopefully, I am as busy as I anticipate being over the next, over the next month and a half, and especially like once that July 1st hits, I have a feeling that things are really, really going to start rolling from that point. As far as the game goes, it's July 27th. It's going to be early. I don't know who we're going to see and who we're not going to see, depending on their performances in the various national team tournaments this summer. So hopefully all our guys crash out and and come home early, and this way they can take their vacation and then get back to camp. So obviously, we always root for the U.S. national team, but it would actually be very beneficial for the U.S. to have a very terrible Copa America for our A student, obviously. So
and Musa too. Yeah, get him home early too.
Yeah. Musa. Okay.
But I was going to mention, you know what? Italy can go as far as they like in the Euros because we have nobody on the team, man.
Right. But just as far as the event goes, we're hoping to do things in the days that are leading up to the game. We're actually hoping to do things even perhaps in the days that follow the game. On the day of the game itself, we're currently working out with our committee a meeting point. There really isn't a place to tailgate at Yankee Stadium, so that's the challenge. Yeah. So we're going to choose a location in that little strip that leads up to the stadium that has a few bars and restaurants, and we'll obviously communicate that to everybody. And then maybe we'll do like a little corteo where we walk ourselves into the stadium, make a little noise on our way in, and let's hoping for some good news in as to what we're allowed to bring into the stadium, which is a very big challenge when you're talking about Yankee Stadium. There's no harder stadium to deal with. And, let's just hope for a good game. I would like for people to, my goal for that game is, and this should be everybody's goal who's showing up to that game as a Milan fan, is for all the people going there just thinking that they're going to go see Manchester City, to bring some attention to how passionate Milan fans are. And I think that's something that everybody should be focused on as they walk into that stadium that day.
I agree. Remo, how, in regards to the game, man, that day, like, what are your emotions when you're thinking about it? What are you hoping? Who's going to be on the megaphone? That's what I'm wondering. Who's got megaphone duty? You don't need the megaphone. I know you're loud enough just like me, man. But how are you feeling in regards to the game and everything?
No, I'm excited. You know what? I'm excited to see everybody because it makes me think. So 12 years ago, right, 2012, we had Yankee Stadium, Milan, Real Madrid, and that was in the early days of the club, and we were still kind of getting started, and we got some groups together, and even that was one of the first key events we had to kind of build momentum for the club, and I'm excited to see, like, 12 years later, I think we're gonna have a ton of people, and it's gonna be like, wow, comparing then to now, like how much we've grown. And I'm just excited to see everybody. Frank, I hope Frank makes the trip down from Toronto and all the boys. And
he is. He's coming with his daughter.
Nice, excited. So yeah, I'm excited for that the Milanismo, the Milan family. The game is whatever. I'm not too worried about whatever it is. But like Franco said, let's be loud. Let's show them about Milanismo in the U.S. or being Milanisti. I'm excited about that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, we'll see how it goes, but that's my main thing.
Pepe, in regards to the game, man, I know. I know they're giving. There's a lot of rules in regards to Yankees, like the whole Yankee Stadium thing. But are you gonna have something surprise for the club? A new sign, new something? Because knowing you always got something else up the sleeve. You surprise the club. You always have something beautiful. You don't disappoint.
If they allowed to bring it to us, of course we have something. We always have something.
That's great.
As far as the game goes, I could give two shits about the actual game.
Yeah,
I'm there to be with my brothers. I'm
Yes.
there to be with my father's gonna be there too, so which is nice.
Nice.
So
Very nice.
So I'm looking. I guarantee you one thing: we may lose 5-6-0, but I guarantee you one thing:
We're gonna be
we're
louder.
gonna be the loudest motherfuckers in that stadium.
You're damn right.
So remember that.
That's exactly how I feel. I want us, all the people in attendance, to know that there are more Milanista there, and we are the bigger club in New York, around the world. Don't lie to yourself. You weren't watching Manchester City 10, 15 years ago, you fucking liars. All right? The biggest front runners of all soccer across the world. But honestly, one, if you're taking the time to come out to be at Yankee Stadium, to meet up with people, these are the three guys that they better be on your list. You got to meet up with them. If you come meet up with the club, you'll get a chance to see them. I'll be there. I'm coming, family. I don't go nowhere without a gang of Ecuadorians. So I'm bringing them all. This time we're all on the same side. So it's going to be a great time, man. So if you haven't got your tickets already, they're still on sale. Take it wherever you need to get the tickets. I don't even think technically we're on the same side. I believe you guys are all on the left field side like I am. The left, yeah, right.
130, 135, 136.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm excited because, again, so many different Milan fans, different Milan groups from all across the country are coming through. Who knows who's going to be on vacation in New York wanting to check out the game. It's going to be a great time. So definitely check it out and stay tuned for more. If you're not already subscribed to their Instagram, the Facebook, everything else for New York City Club, you got to be on there so you're up to date with everything that's going to be going on. I can't wait, man. Honestly, it's going to be great to go and watch the game, but I'm more excited to be with you guys before, to hang out. And if the walk up to the stadium, oh, man, it's those things you see at Milanello and walking up in the streets of a European city to just let everybody know fucking Milan's here, baby. And that's what I hope.
Listen, I mean, you know, people talk shit about the friendly in Australia, but like those three Australian clubs really made some noise, and shout out to them because they probably don't get the recognition that they deserve. You know, those dudes are waking up at 4 a.m. on a Monday before work to go to the cafe to go watch games and stuff, and then they finally had that opportunity to really showcase their Milanismo, and they exceeded all expectations.
Absolutely.
Like they really did a sick job that night.
They did.
So just going back to social media and stuff, anything that we have planned as an event that is open to the public is going to be posted on our social media pages: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Your sister's ass, as Fabio likes to say.
Get a lot of news there. At
AC Milan NYC, and it'll all be there. So that's a good place to check it out. If there's nothing posted yet, then we don't have the information. So don't DM me.
Listen, man, I've said it many times. I love being a part of the New York City Club. It is one of the coolest things that I've got to experience. My biggest regret, and I've said this to Franco a million times, I really wanted to be there for the 2022 celebration, and it's one of my biggest regrets. And I swear to God, I will not go to a wedding and get angry and have family members angry at me. If it ever comes a time that I have to miss something, no way. I'm sorry. I'm going to the club. I am not missing this
It's
experience.
okay.
America.
They tape the weddings anyway. So
Exactly. And you know what? And I'm sorry to my sister. I taped over her Sweet 16 with WWF once. They weren't watching it. It's not my fault. But anyway, I digress. Guys, I appreciate you so much for taking time, sitting here talking again a whole season of Milan with me. I appreciate you guys. I miss you guys. Can't wait for you guys to be there on the 27th of July. If you haven't got your tickets, go do it. And if you haven't done something already, let me remind you one more fucking time. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the Milan Weekly Podcast channel. Hit the notification bell so you're up to date with all of our latest videos. Smash the like button. Leave a comment. Follow us on Patreon. Follow the New York City Club on all their socials. Let's go, boys. Thank you so much for being here with me. I hope you guys all have a great night. Let's all go to bed now. Peace out, everybody. Good night.